Hey there, this is Joey with Trans4mation Photography. Welcome to my studio. I wanted to talk to you today about something I get asked every now and then, which is what's in your camera bag? So whether you're a bride, a groom, or someone watching this video just curious, kicking the tires, wondering what kind of equipment I have, this is the perfect video for you. So to start out with, I am a Nikon guy. There's a lot of Canon people out there, wonderful camera, but I particularly prefer the Nikon, its versatility and ability to change things. So I've used Nikon for many years. So let's go ahead and dive right in and talk about what I have in my camera bag. So for starters, my absolute main go-to camera is this D810. Again, it's a high resolution, full frame camera. I shoot in RAW format. RAW format means that I can make all the edits and adjustments after the wedding and change the saturation, the colors, and all of that. Very easy to do in RAW format. And I also shoot in manual format, which means I don't use the auto settings or program settings. This way, I can, on the fly, depending on the situation, whether we're indoors and outdoors, whether someone's moving quickly, they're dancing or standing still, all of that, I can adjust the aperture, the ISO, the shutter speed on the fly based on what I need in the moment. So this is the D810. It comes with a camera grip, a battery grip, which allows me to shoot in portrait or landscape format, gives me extra batteries in here as well. This is my go-to. My secondary camera is the one I'm shooting this video on. It's the D800, also a fantastic full-frame camera. I use both of them together, so I might have a short lens on one camera and a telephoto lens on the other. I'll wear them both over my shoulders, and that way if I need a telephoto, kind of a close-in shot, I can use one camera and then a wide angle with the other camera and do that on the fly. So those are my two main cameras, and although I've never dropped a camera before, I have dropped lenses and flashes, but just in case anything happens to one of these two main cameras, I have a third backup camera. It's the D700 Nikon, fantastic camera to use. That's in my camera bag. As far as flashes go, it's important to know that photography, the word photo means light, photons. So for a camera sensor to see the information, to see the colors and what the picture is all about, it needs light. And so obviously in the outdoors, of course when there's sun or at least a bright day, that gives me the opportunity, because I love to take natural light photography, ambient light photography. Those are beautiful, creamy kinds of photos. They're very flattering. You have sort of a very diffused light if you're outside. However, at night, when during the reception, it's a dark church, for example, or during the reception when they turn down the lights for the ambiance and everyone's dancing and such, there isn't a whole lot of light, and so I need to use additional light at times to help me out. And so these flashes, this is the granddaddy of all speed lights. It's the Nikon SB910, great programmable flash. I use that with a Gary Fong diffuser. I found that this diffuser works really well. It diffuses and scatters the light nicely. Usually bounce it on the ceiling, so I never shoot with the flash aiming at my subjects, because it'll just cast a very harsh light and it's not very flattering. So you got to know how to use these things. And of course I bring two additional flashes. I'm able to use these flashes with my Pocket Wizard wireless transmitters and receivers. These transmitters and receivers allow me to set up the flash off camera. So although I can put the flash on the camera, I prefer at times to set it up in the different corners of a room. For example, I'll put the transmitter on the camera, the receiver goes on the bottom of the flash, and then I can control the flash and how much light it casts and when it goes off and all of that directly from the camera without even being near the flash. I think it works at about a third of a mile away from the flash. So those are the Pocket Wizards. This particular Pocket Wizard receiver attaches to this Big puppy. It's the Einstein 640 strobe. So if a room is particularly dark, I will use this strobe. I'll put it on a 10-foot tripod with this receiver. Again, I can control how strong of a light and all those details directly from my camera. Really cool technology. As far as lenses go, now all this equipment is very important, but in photography, lenses are king because, as they call it, glass, everything passes through the lens. So you got to have good lenses, not just any old cheap lenses. It's got to be the best of the best to get the best picture. So my telephoto lens, we'll start there, is my 70 to 200 millimeter telephoto. It's an EX Nikon lens. Fantastic. It lets me shoot telephoto from a distance. I use it heavily during the ceremony, especially if the officiant tells me not to come very close to the front, and I'm able to take pictures from far away with this lens. I also use it during the reception. For example, during the first look, or excuse me, the first dance, father-daughter dance, and those things, I'm able to stay away and give the dancing couple their intimate moment without being very disruptive. So this lets me do that. The other times I use this, for example, is during the reception when the guests are talking and laughing and standing and holding a glass of wine. I'm able to, in a voyeuristic sort of way, take pictures of them candidly, photojournalistically, as they say, because if I come really close with a smaller lens, they're going to look at the camera, they're going to look at me, and it's not very candid. But if I'm standing far away, I'm doing these sniper shots, and they don't even know I'm taking a photo, which makes for great pictures. That's the 70 to 200. The lens on the camera that's shooting this video right now is the 2470 millimeter. It's very versatile. It lets me, I use it a lot during when, for example, the bride is coming down the aisle, entering the church. For example, I'm able to zoom in from the front of the church because she's far away, and then zoom back out as she approaches me. So it gives me a wide angle. Very flexible kind of lens. This is my absolutely favorite lens. It's the 85 millimeter Nikon lens. This creates some amazing portraits. So during that time period between the ceremony and the reception, when we're doing portraits or creative artistic shots with the bride and groom, I use this lens because it creates very vivid, sharp images of the bride and groom. However, all the background, for example, if you're in a garden, the flowers and the trees and all those colors sort of melt together. It's very creamy, almost like a painting. This is the lens to use. So 85 millimeter. I also have a macro lens. This macro lens lets me take pictures of close-ups of details, the wedding rings and the invitation cards and the cake and all of that. Lets me get in real close and grab a picture and sort of also melt the surroundings like a painting. Great lens. This is my wide angle 8 millimeter lens. This is a lens that lets me take a picture literally 180 degrees from left to right. It sees everything and creates some really cool photographs. And another prime lens I use is the 50 millimeter 1.4 Nikon, great for portraits as well. Along with these lenses, I bring a bunch of filters that scale down, for example, the amount of light that enters the lens. If it's too bright, if I want to create some artistic colors or effects in my images, I'll use these filters. They go right on top of the lens. Of course, I bring a bunch of memory cards, not only for me, for my assistant who's helping, if it's one or two assistants. Sometimes I'm shooting more than one wedding in a week, so I'm going to need a lot of memory cards. I'll have more memory cards than you'll ever need for your wedding. And last but not least is batteries. I bring a lot of batteries for my flashes, for my cameras, for a bunch of other things. All of these batteries come with me. Again, if you fail to plan, you've planned to fail, and I don't want to fail my clients. I want to make sure I get the absolute best pictures for you. So I hope this video has been helpful, let you know a little bit about what's in my bag. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'd love to chat it up. And thank you for watching. Take care.